Are there issues and problems in your life that you want to break away from and feel like you can't? Do you wonder, how can I be free from these issues that have destroyed my life? Well, my friend, I have the answer. Bible Way Hibner Memorial Church of God in Christ presents Chain Breakers, this and every Sunday at 9 a.m. here on WHYL.
From the L.B. Smith Ford Lincoln Studios, Oldies 102.9 is WHYL Carlisle.
Welcome to the Real Estate Radio Guys, your weekly source for all things real estate. We're your hosts, real estate broker John Rainville and your mortgage expert Kingsley Harmer discuss everything from mortgage rates to home staging for foreclosures and everything in between that affect the daily real estate market. Real people, real questions, real answers. Today's show is brought to you by www.pagoloan-com, your source for new mortgage loans. NMLS number 1018. EnviroQuest, trusted for home inspections and radon mitigation in Central PA for over 25 years. And brokersrealty.com, the easiest way to search for real estate in your hometown. Now, on to the show.
Well, good morning. It's a great day in Pennsylvania. It was a little bit darker coming in this morning.
Yeah.
How are you doing this morning, Kingsley?
Doing good, John. I see you had a miraculous recovery this morning.
Well, we did. My doc from OIP, Kurt Galtz, waived off my surgery yesterday.
Oh, see, I thought maybe he just gave you like a super pill or something.
No, I think he's afraid of Big Dog's wife.
Well, yeah, I can understand that.
So, we're going to have to reschedule, probably maybe January or something.
Oh, you're going out that far?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm just, Christmas and New Year's do fall in here. I mean,
I thought they were going to bring in like the 24th or something.
Well, you never know. He might. That would suck.
Yeah, I guess that would kind of suck. But it allows you, well, maybe like the 26th. You can ruin your New Year's Day.
Well, folks, I'm John Rainville, the broker from brokersrealty.com here in Pennsylvania, also licensed real estate broker in New York and Maryland, and our company's also licensed in Georgia. I've been doing this a little over 30 years, and my co-host is Kingsley Harmer.
And with pagoloan.com, I've been in the mortgage industry and real estate industry not quite as long as John. He has a couple of years on me. Mortgages, purchases, refinancing, if you need help with investment properties, on up, I'm your guy.
So what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, today's a good show, and it's for the most part going to revolve around retirement, if you will. And we have a number of options, which I know on one of our shows we did go over a few options, anywhere from assisted living cares to full-on retirement centers that had on, nursing staff. I
have a customer right now. They're going to sell their house. They already have the RV packed in the driveway. And as soon as it sells and settles, they're hitting the road.
That wasn't on my list of options.
Well, okay.
But I think that one's a whole lot better. And I think one of the sexier options that we talked about before was, as opposed to going into a home,
go to the cruise for the
go
cruise.
on a cruise line all year long, right? Because it was almost cheaper.
Yeah. Well, if they bought enough houses with us, they could get some free trips. So that would take them for some of the time.
That would help too. Yes.
So if they bought and sold, there would be at least a couple days.
Buy and sell. Yeah, you got a couple weeks in there, right? So there's obviously a long line of, and the sliding scale goes in with how much effort you need for health help or physical help. So you've got these people downsizing to smaller condos, townhomes, possibly even, single level living. And then you move into the 55 plus communities where they've got a lot of different activities, for people that are active, in their 50s and up. And then of course you've got the centers and more or less apartment buildings, that have completely independent living, but have activities like Bingo, but they also have meal preparation, so like you don't have to necessarily worry about cooking all the time. You can actually get it from in-house.
Right.
And then, of course, as you get older, if you have health issues, some of them have nurses on staff.
Right, you progress through the system.
Correct. And then of course, there's centers that, for the most part are, I don't want to call them nursing homes, but they have what they call Alzheimer's and dementia centers, because you almost need kind of almost a full-time type of help.
A financing question as a real estate broker I get and hear all the time, Kingsley, is I think I'm too old to get a mortgage.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's a law that cannot discriminate against age.
A lot of people don't realize that, though.
Really?
Yes.
You think?
I do. I know so. I get the question a lot. They think that they're too old to be able to get a mortgage, or that there's a cutoff. Like
you could be 98, 102. You could be 180, and still qualify for a mortgage as long as you qualified, traditionally, and you had the income, and the credit, of course.
Yeah, that's a good point, though. I mean, because people do not know that.
And there are actually mortgages that are designed for elderly, which we will get into later on in the show.
So just a quick question, because it popped in my head. So let's say that their house is already paid off. Could an older homeowner qualify for a HELOC, for a home equity line of credit still? It's still just a loan as long as they qualify, right?
Doesn't matter what loan product.
Right, because they can't age discriminate.
That's really what there's no product out there that says, well, I'll take that back. There's no product out there that says you're too old. You can't be a certain age.
Okay.
There are loan products that say you're too young.
Okay.
Which is called a reverse mortgage.
Okay.
Which most of them are HECM mortgages, which is actually a line of credit. But again, we'll get into that a little bit later on in the show. But what's great about today's show, and in addition to what we have, realistically already gone over as far as many options that you can purchase, a lot of people are obviously taking it to the road for retirement. Some people are doing the cruises. But what about other options, right? What about as I age? I've grown up in this home that I've lived in, my whole life. I've raised my family, and I really love it in my home, and I don't want to leave my home.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of people are looking to, what I'm going to say, age in place if they can.
And that is exactly one huge option. And it seems like, no big deal, I'll just stay in my house. But there is a whole lot more to it than just, let me stay in my house, and we'll go from there. There's actually a whole segment, if you will. And there's actually a whole, what's the word I'm looking at?
Industry. There's a whole industry.
You actually have to be certified, which they call CAPS, right?
Right.
CAPS, which is Certified Aging in Place. And we're actually going to be talking with a CAPS individual who's certified in CAPS and aging in place, because there's actually a lot that goes into.
Oh yeah, it's actually more than just lever door handles and things like that and wide hallways.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, there's a lot to it.
Right. It's more than ramps. It's just there's a lot of little things that can be done to make your life so much easier in the home.
So yeah, I mean that's a huge segment. And then the next question, of course, is, that's great, Kingsley. I'm going to stay in my home, and you're going to have me do all these alterations and whatever it is that you tell me I should do to my home to be able to live here. But how am I going to pay for it? So we're also going to go over some common programs that are available, and loans for that matter, for anybody of any age. that can qualify. And then, of course, there's also programs for those that are already aged and retired that can be set up in a multitude of ways to help you through your retirement. But first, real quick, just I wanted to touch base on the market as we are here heading into the holidays. And it's kind of been an up and down over the last couple of months. It would go up and everybody would cry and panic and think rates were going to skyrocket. And then some report would come out and it would reverse and come right back down again. There's a lot of experts that are saying that when the election occurred, and obviously when President Trump was elected, that at that particular time the market the market conditions that were about to occur and the types of programs that were going to be enacted and laws changed, etc., and that the market already took effect, all of the things that were about to happen in this coming year.
Do you think they really knew what to expect with Trump when he got in?
Well,
you think they just obviously we always call it pricing it in. They seem to have priced things in. We seem to be still flat.
I would tend to think, and because it did go up, quite a bit, obviously, from where it was last year. Well, not last year, but slightly before that. I think a lot of it was priced in because I think everybody knew there was going to be tax breaks. I think everybody knew there was probably going to be, and what we're anticipating coming up in January is a huge infrastructure investment into the country, right? Which means more revenue,
more taxes,
more debt, obviously,
right.
So I think a lot of that has already been priced in, which is why you haven't seen the huge spikes with all these reports coming out. The bright side to all of this is that the 10-year bond has kind of stayed tried and true throughout all of this. However, I do foresee rates finally moving upward. I think it's against every report and expert out there that has said that they're going up, and then somehow it doesn't. I'm not sure how long that can hold off. There's all but 100% guarantee that the Fed's going to hike rates next week.
Well, we also have the real estate crisis in China and the financial markets in China, and a lot of their banks are definitely in trouble right now, and that could have some global impact, and I'm sure that's going to price in on us because we've been going to them to borrow money.
Oh yeah. How much have we just $50 billion did they just invest in our economy? Some crazy number.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, again, I just don't foresee it holding off for too much longer, and I think in the coming weeks you're going to start seeing rates go up a little bit.
Well, yeah, real quick, on all the real estate boards that I read every morning, that they are encouraging people to buy now. Now, are you going to buy now and close by the end of the year? Probably not. But you definitely, the rates are still solid, okay? The inventory is still a little bit low. The competition, or what we call foot traffic in the business, is definitely down. So you're competing against less buyers in the market right now over the next 3 weeks. It's a fantastic time to get out there and get the home you've been wanting.
Well, and at the end of the day, the last 2 years in general has been a great time.
Pretty good
to buy a home. I mean, you had a perfect storm, perfect rates,
absolutely
lower home values. Now you've got appreciation. So it's kind of swung back, obviously towards a seller's market a little bit. But all that means is that there's confidence in the market in general. With job rates and the whole 9 yards coming out, people I think are going to start buying homes. The only question is whether you're going to take advantage of having the lower rates and the lower payments, because come a year or two, at this point last year they were predicting that we would be at 5%.
Didn't happen.
It didn't happen. I mean, we're still hovering at 4, slightly below 4. I think that will start to tick up over the coming months, and then as the spring market comes into play, I think it's going to actually.
So you think
start
next year
to move.
we may see 5 next year? Maybe
I don't know about 5. I think we're going to probably
4.5.
hit 4.5 at the very least.
Okay.
Because theoretically we were on our way there within the last month, and then a couple reports come out. But I think we're going to hit 4.5. And the funny thing is you're thinking, okay, great. Well, 4.5 is still a great rate, and it is. I mean, you look back on history. You were around, not to age you or anything, but back when interest rates were what, like 16%?
Big Dog and I had an adjustable rate mortgage on a commercial property at 13.1% from a local bank.
I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, I went way up over that, dude.
I wasn't even a twinkle in my parents' eye at that point. Well, maybe I was. But
they were past twinkling, dude.
But I mean, think about that. 13% on a mortgage today would all but eliminate half the marketplace.
It was breathtaking. We were just too stupid to know it at the time.
Oh my gosh. Now they, instead of interest rates going up, now they throw in, mortgage insurance for half the programs, but that's another topic. So, in any event, on to the show. We have Lois on, who is a CAPS, or it was a certified aging in place. Lois, good morning. How are you doing today?
Good morning, guys. I'm doing excellent. How about yourself?
Oh, not bad. Just looking forward to the first snow of the season and seeing if my car slides off the road or not on the way home.
I'm still giggling about the interest rates. The first contract I wrote when I was in the business was at 17%.
Oh, wow!
And those were scary times. One day you qualified, and the next day you didn't.
That's 4 times the mortgage payment.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah. We were creative back then, though, weren't we, Lois?
Yeah, they didn't have walls.
We were creative.
Creative. Yeah, that's the word.
Well, a lot of people, were holding mortgages then, but, shifting over to what we're talking about here, this is a great time of the year when, I heard, John, your comment about, things might be just a little slow this time of the year, but, when you're doing construction, this is the perfect time to kick it off and get it rolling. We're talking about caps. Well, what's caps? Well, those are the things you put on to keep your head warm, right? But it's also a National Association of Home Builders designation, and it's certified aging in place. So as those of us that remember doing business in the 80s get a little bit older, how are we going to stay in our homes? Maybe people are thinking now, maybe it's not upsize, maybe it's downsizing, or maybe it's that term aging in place. So what can we do to make their homes safer for them as they're, maybe they have less physical attributes. Maybe they don't want to climb those stairs. Maybe they don't want to struggle with that door that sticks. A lot of different things.
So Lois, tell me a little bit about, CAPS in general. What does it take? I mean, I know there's a certification for that, right?
Absolutely.
What does it take? Because this is a huge, at the very least, growing market and segment of the real estate industry. What does it take to become certified? What goes into that?
Well, education. National Association of Home Builders has these different designations, and it's education in a particular subject matter. And just as this, it's broken down into 3 segments now, and you have to, over a 3-year period, it's not like a once and done. It's, they keep you up to date. It's a very good program, as the majority of our population here slides into senior kingdom. But it helps us within the real estate and building industry help those homeowners make choices. Do you want to stay in your home? Do you not want to stay in your home? Even if you say maybe have your parents and you want to make your homes more visitable. So, maybe you have older people that you want to come into your home, but there are different things that you can do to make it more inviting, more safe. There may be, task lighting or grab bars or other home modifications that, Joe Builder may not really understand unless the people ask for them. So as a CAPS designate, you can work with people to let them know things that you can do now if you're building a new home to prepare it for that need in the future. There are things that you can do now fairly inexpensively, or you can do everything from, like me, taking in your mother, which, I have a kind of a personal thing going on here, because some people do an addition on their home or renovate a part of their home to meet the needs of that elder person that's coming in to live with them.
Lois, I've actually even seen that one company makes actually like a modular addition that you can put on when the folks come, and if they, move on, you can actually remove it then even and put the house back the way it was.
Yep, there are things that are attached to the home. They lovingly in California call them granny pods. But it can be everything from an addition on the home to a tiny home that's parked in the backyard. That's not always so tiny, but they're gorgeous. Drop-dead gorgeous.
Did you say granny pods?
I did say granny pods.
Wow. Okay. I mean, is that like who manufactures them? Is it Depends or?
There can be a number of different manufacturers, and again, it can be a local builder that adds an addition onto the home. They can convert a family room. We have a lot of Center Hall colonials in Pennsylvania, 2 stories, and most of them have a very nice family room, and a lot of times that you can add a full accessible bathroom and bedroom, even sometimes a kitchenette into that space. If you have a walkout basement, you can put it there where everything is on one level. There's all sorts of things that you can do, and that's why if someone has that kind of need, of course, we have CAPS certified people here within Brokers Realty, and if you want to give us a call to explore that option, we have different solutions that we can offer and different builders that we can work with, and I'm sure, Kingsley, that you can help them with some financing.
I'm pretty sure I can, and we're going to go over some options for them a little bit later on in the show. So I know part of the CAPS program, a big segment is, of course, the evaluation, correct?
Sure, absolutely.
And what goes into the evaluation?
Well, sometimes they will call and they already know what the need is. They may just simply say, we need space that's all on one level. But there are different, depending on what the request is, someone can go in and do an analysis. First of all, who's going to pay for this? Is the person coming in going to pay for this? Is it something that you just want to prepare your home for the future, or that type of thing? So that's why you would sit down with a CAPS person at any time. People, even if you're buying a home now, look at it with those eyes. Are you going to have mom or pops or auntie or uncle coming to live with you? We're kind of that sandwich generation where you may have a kid in the basement and an elder in the family room. So you would meet. We would talk about budget. We would talk about needs and what can be done to make it usable.
Does part of that go? Do you evaluate maybe something that a doctor has diagnosed, the client with, to say, we've got somebody here that has, a bad case of arthritis. We may want to think about handles. I don't know. That's obviously your area of expertise. But do you look at certain ailments and say, we may want to do this or add this to a home?
You can, absolutely, if you know what that is. But there are some people that just actually plan knowing that they're probably going to have a relative under their roof at some time in the future, or, maybe themselves. I've had people build new homes that say, I've actually built a home with 2 master suites, one for the parent at street level, and of course one upstairs, as they typically are in our center hall colonials. But it's always good to plan for the future. Some people build them saying, okay, well, it's a guest room now, but when we can't do the stairs anymore, then it'll be our room. So if there is a need to a specific health issue with a person, yes, you can absolutely go there. But there are a lot of things that you can do just planning for the future.
So you're actually more or less talking about bringing a parent into the home, but obviously, as you said, prior, you can actually plan on your future home, if you will, when you buy. Let's say, in even your 40s and 50s, to say, hey, look, I'm going to plan ahead because I don't know, maybe bad knees run in the family, and I want to have 1-floor living, or maybe you have possibility of a wheelchair in your future, with certain diseases or ailments. And, as you're building the home now, you might want to just build in wider walkways or wider doorways to have easier access to those types of things.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. Most wheelchairs will fit in any home. Your entrance doors are usually 36, and even a chair will usually a regular size chair will fit through a regular interior door. But I have built homes for people with larger chairs and those types of things. But basically, the thing of it is goals. It's like anything else, whether you're going to buy a home, whether you're going to retrofit a home. That's where we sit down. It's always, the question is, what is it going to cost? And everyone needs to know that, because you don't want that big surprise at the end where they've already got it in their heart, in their mind, that they really want to do this, and now they find out that it's cost prohibitive. So,
real quick, when people come to you and they talk about this, how soon should they start planning? And I'm guessing that most of the time this revolves around some sort of health issue or perceived possible health issue. At what time should you start planning on this? I mean, is it too early? I mean, is there ever a time where it's too early to start planning?
You should start planning.
Thanks.
I would say yesterday is when to start, because, even if you're perfectly healthy today, but you are planning on, I had a young couple in their 40s build a home. They knew that was going to be their last home, so we sat down and said, well, what are you going to do when you get old? What do you want to do? What do you want your lifestyle to be? So we planned that entire home. We put wider doorways in. We put some extra wiring in for other things, for some task lighting. You can get paddle handles now. You might as well put them in now. But those are things that you can retrofit. So, considering it's going to take 6 months, give or take, maybe more, if you're going to build a new home. Those are things that you can prepare for in the future. If you're going to retrofit a home, it goes back to what are the goals and what's the budget, and what are you looking for? And a lot of times people think they know, but it may not be exactly how it goes. So, my suggestion is get a hold of someone if you're thinking about making these changes, and you can even throw some green features in. It's amazing the building components that we have today are so much different from even 10 years ago. It's just awesome stuff.
And Lois, a lot of the products, I think a lot of times when people think, grab bars, different door handles, excuse me, et cetera, that whole venue has really changed over the last 10 years. It's not just institutional looking retrofits now. I mean, it's really things that just fit right in with the home, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. They have some beautiful, beautiful things. And a lot of things aren't that costly if you, again, everyone has to keep in their budget. But, literally, you can build a house with no interior walls now. We have the capability with the building components that are available to do that. So, if you want to play basketball in the middle of your house in your wheelchair, we can make that happen.
Nice. I don't think that I've ever dreamt that would be my retirement, but it's certainly on the radar now. So we're actually going to go to a commercial break here, Lois. So if you want to just hold the line for a minute, and we'll be right back.
Be happy to.
The Real Estate Radio Guys with John Rainville and Kingsley Harmer. We'll be right back. Home! Buy your new home with brokersrealty.com in December and get away. That's right. After closing on your new home, you get a choice between a fabulous cruise getaway, Vegas vacation, or even a tropical oasis. Broker Realty's realtors will guide you through the searching all the way to getting the keys to your new home. For details, Google brokersrealty.com or text getaway to 79564. That's GETAWAY to 79564.
Are you working with a mortgage company that offers pre-approvals or just pre-qualifications? Does your mortgage company reward police, firefighters, military, teachers, and nurses with better rates and fees? How would you like to apply and be updated on the status of your loan right from your phone? Introducing GSF Mortgage Corporation, where technology and relationships make the difference. Visit pagoloan.com to apply or call 717-200-4800 for more information. NMLS number 1018.
Buying or selling a home? For professional home inspection, call EnviroQuest of Harrisburg. Their certified home inspectors will conduct a thorough inspection and provide a detailed report with many pictures. They'll explain the findings. Do you have elevated radon levels in your house? Call EnviroQuest. They have fixed over 10,000 homes over the last 25 years. For a professional home inspection or radon mitigation, call EnviroQuest at 233-6144, 233-6144, or visit EnviroQuest online at evqharrisburg.com. That's evqharrisburg.com.
Home! Buy your new home with brokersrealty.com in December and get away. That's right. After closing on your new home, you get a choice between a fabulous cruise getaway, Vegas vacation, or even a tropical oasis. Broker Realty's realtors will guide you through the searching all the way to getting the keys to your new home. For details, Google brokersrealty.com or text getaway to 79564. That's GETAWAY to 79564.
Everyone wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. If only they knew the best way to do it. Hi, I'm John Rainville.
And I'm Kingsley Harmer.
And we're the Real Estate Radio Guys. We bring over 40 years' experience to talk about all things real estate.
Weekly, we'll discuss the latest trends, hot topics, along with tips and techniques that could save you thousands and eliminate headaches.
So tune in to the Real Estate Radio Guys, Saturdays at 8 a.m. here on WHYL 102.9. Real topics, real answers for real people.
Are you working with a mortgage company that offers pre-approvals or just pre-qualifications? Does your mortgage company reward police, firefighters, military, teachers, and nurses with better rates and fees? How would you like to apply and be updated on the status of your loan right from your phone? Introducing GSF Mortgage Corporation, where technology and relationships make the difference. Visit pagoloan.com to apply or call 717-200-4800 for more information. NMLS number 1018.
Back to the show, the Real Estate Radio Guys with John Rainville and Kingsley Harmer.
Anywho.
We needed the extra time, Lois. Do you know where Kingsley was?
I have no idea.
You don't want to know.
That's good.
We were talking about probably the next thing to do would be to talk a little bit more about caps, give a number to call.
Yes. So, I mean, a lot of times on the home modifications, Lois, people usually think, I mean, the biggest area is, I guess, a bathroom and maybe the kitchen?
It depends on the need. There can be certainly many things that are done. And again, maybe it's not needed immediately, but it's something that you literally grow into that need. So if you're thinking of a remodel, you might want to think about some of the accessibility issues that, we deal with in caps, and having someone come in and do an evaluation for you. I mean, it's not just a matter of picking, colors. It's more about what's going to go where and how you're going to use the space in the future.
So, this is something that could range anywhere from like a couple of thousand on up to like 40 or 50,000, depending on your needs. And of course, what sort of upgrades? Like I've seen some of these really cool bathtubs, the door will close, you can walk into it, and it will fill up as a bathtub. So I imagine those types of things aren't cheap.
Well, it depends. Again, it depends on the need. There are some things that are fairly inexpensive to do, and maybe you can even do yourself. We just recently changed out a bunch of door handles from the knobs to the paddle handles, and it's made a huge difference. In our ease and even getting through the house. So, basically, if someone is looking to do some modifications before they get sold on something, maybe they should have someone other than just a contractor that is going to change the color of the cabinet in their home, and a CAPS designee that can plan for the future. It's, I talk about goals here and there, but sometimes it's the long-term goals that it makes sense to do.
And obviously you're CAP certified. So, going into this time in your life, it certainly makes sense to have someone like yourself come out and at least give an initial consultation and say, look, these are some of the things that you might want to do. Is there ever like a charge for a consultation or evaluation?
Not in my world.
Okay.
Basically, obviously, if there is a job to be done, there may be a small charge. But, along the CAPS line, we actually are, if anyone's going to do a remodel, ask them if their remodeler or their builder is CAPS certified. We actually, through the home builders of Metropolitan Harrisburg, are having a CAPS designation class to start through that process here coming up in the new year. If anyone is interested, they can call the HBA directly at 717-232-5595. And again, 717-232-5595 if they want to register for the course.
And for our listeners out there that are, maybe being educated now for the first time about CAPS and knowing that that there's someone out there that can help them and steer them in the right direction, if they wanted to call you, obviously being a designated individual, what would be the best contact information for you?
Oh, that's very easy. I'm at 888-774-8488. Extension 786, or just ask for New Homes.
New Homes.
And again, that's New Homes at 888-774-8488, and I'm Lois Graham. New Homes, extension 786.
Lois, real quick, because I know you were just saying that the HBA, and I did put the number up here on our website for our listeners and for realtors. How long of a class is that? Do you have an approximate cost? I'm being asked.
You know what? I really do not have the cost. That would be, you can ask for Bob at the HBA.
Okay.
Again, the 717-232-5595. They're starting to, I think they're going to be starting to register for the class probably sometime the end of December, early January. But it's a very good class. It is one of 3 classes that you must complete. We're starting with the first one, CAPS 1. It's a 3-module course. You have to take continuing education every 3 years, 12 hours every 3 years. And in addition to that, what I think should probably ring out to people is you have to anyone with a CAPS designation has to ascribe to a code of ethics. So that's also something different that will set a CAPS designation person, contractor different from a regular is the fact that they're going in to provide a need and a service, not just make a sale.
Lois, I just want to make sure, because I think I wrote that number down wrong. Is it 717-232-5595?
That's correct.
Okay, I did write it down wrong.
All right, there we go. Lois, thanks for coming on today. Hopefully our listeners have learned something, and that there's more options than living in a home or having to sell and move out, and having the right person and the designee, if you will, that's certified, certainly should give them some comfort knowing that they can get the right advice.
Sort of an independent advocate. Yeah, almost. Yeah.
There are some beautiful retrofits. It's not looking like the hospital scenario anymore. There are some beautiful, beautiful retrofits that can be had for a very reasonable price.
Fabulous.
So I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, Lois, and have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
That's interesting because obviously the house that Betty and I built 15 years ago. We did put some of those things in. Good thing, for me, since I'm looking at the knee surgery. For example, we have a walk-in shower in the master bath. We have the wider doorways. We have the Lido door handles, the lever door handles. And some of the retrofits now that we want to make in the house now are things like the barn doors.
Right.
In certain areas of our house, the barn door will seem to make more sense than the opening of a door.
I think that's a great idea. It really is. And I've seen a lot of the builders out there put the barn doors in there. And I thought, wow, what a great look that is. And I never really thought about it from a standpoint of growing into the home for that need later on.
Yeah, especially like in our master bedroom, with the way that we walk into the master bath, you've got a double door.
Right.
And it's just like, wow, it'd be just so much easier if it was just
a sliding door. Interesting.
Sliding door, yeah. Who's there?
I don't know. I think it must be John Stas. John, good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, good morning, guys. Great. How are you doing this morning?
Wow, you've got a much better phone this week.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, different case. Yep.
Was it the case?
It was a case, yeah.
Really? Awesome.
No more of those knockoffs, right? You went to the regular branded?
I went to the real source. I got an OtterBox.
Yeah,
case.
they're wonderful.
I love the OtterBox.
Yeah, I do too, but
Yeah.
I'm too cheap.
I am too.
Frugal.
Frugal. Yeah, it's a better word.
So, John, can we talk a little bit this morning, since we're sort of on that senior thing, a little bit, from your perspective, things that maybe seniors should consider or look at in their house, or things that they should check?
Sure, and hopefully I'm not repeating anything from the first segment. I didn't hear all of it, but so as a home inspector, we do go into a lot of homes where there are older people occupying. One thing I notice right off the bat is, let's say somebody has trouble doing steps, so they will start changing the usage of the house, occupying more on the first floor so they don't have to do the steps. So now they have all their stuff on the first floor, so that creates a storage problem, because with that clutter or the additional items that are occupying that space, you need to be careful of storage and access so they're not tripping over the stuff. So it presents like an organization/storage issue to keep safe access, through the area with the increased amount of items being used on that area.
That's a great point, because I don't think most of us even think about storage and how your storage needs would change in that situation.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic thought.
Yeah, that's actually probably Store. Yeah, they have specialists, I think, for storage. It pulls down from the ceiling, whole 9 yards for that kind of stuff.
I never thought about it till John just mentioned it.
Awesome. So
there's all kinds of specialty contractors that'll come in and look at the storage needs, make an assessment, and then let's say build a closet out to. It's amazing, just with organization, how much additional space you can create by properly organizing things.
Yeah, I never even thought about that from that aspect. For example, in a laundry room, if you've got two doors, maybe have some racks on the doors as opposed to trying to have like a huge shelf, way up high over and above the laundry facilities that you couldn't even get to, especially at an older age. So how about utilities? I mean, is there anything with utilities that we could probably look at to say, as you get older, we might want to think about doing X, Y, Z to make it easier, or a little bit, I don't know, the maintenance, from a maintenance aspect of it?
Yeah, maintenance as far as utilities, but one thing I do want to talk about is that we see sometimes are storage of chemicals. Let's say a lawnmower, putting that in some of the older houses we see will have a big thing we run into with home inspections is, let's say a house built in the 50s or 60s, they're not going to have modern fireproofing or what they call gas proofing or vapor proofing. So let's say you have a walkout basement and it's half garage, or let's say 1/3 garage and 2/3 living space. There's not going to be a fireproof wall or a fire door. There's an old wood door. Maybe they have return ductwork, so you're still store a car or a lawnmower in your garage, and it's sitting there, and you do have fumes coming off of it. It can get sucked into the returns and become either a fire hazard or a vapor hazard, fume hazard. So storage of chemicals, I would say, is a key issue.
So you'd be 70 years old and accidentally huffing paint as opposed to your teens when you did it on purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
So and obviously as you get older, I think your body becomes a little bit more sensitive to those sort of things and chemicals. Definitely interesting. And I was thinking more along the lines of maybe changing out like the water heater to one of those instant water heater boxes that they have on the wall.
Yeah. I was talking with somebody who was an investor about some solutions regarding that. They had it was a real small house. It was actually in Shipoke, and they wanted to add value to the house by adding a bathroom. But on the first floor there was a room. It was more like a storage room, and there was a washer and dryer, water heater that was taking up all the space. And I helped them to. We had a plan of. They make these, you have a washer and a dryer. I know LG makes it, but it's a washer and dryer all in one unit. So it takes a longer cycle, but you put the clothes in, it washes them, it dries them in half the space, because you just have a unit that's the size of a washer that does both.
I saw those.
So,
wonder if they work.
Yeah. I have one that's in a rental unit. I haven't heard a peep out of them. It's been in there for almost 2 years.
Really?
So I know... the LG ones, I know,
wonder if it would save you on energy, too. I know they're probably more expensive to buy, but...
Well, yeah, we will save you on energy because you don't have to go and unload the one machine loaded in the other.
My energy. Energy cost. Well, that's certainly...
Another aspect of it is you don't have... you have reduced maintenance because it doesn't have a dryer vent.
Huh.
Because what happens, I believe, the way it works is you do your load of wash and it dries it. Then the next load of wash, since it's in the same machine, it washes the lint down the water drain. So it cleans self-cleaning.
Really?
No dryer vent to clean, no fire hazard of a dryer vent being clogged.
Wow. I like that idea. I never even thought about that. Somebody came up with something good.
I have another unit where I do have one of those instant water heaters. It's actually an electric one, and it works great as well. It takes up...
Have you noticed that it's saving any electrical costs? I mean, obviously, I'm sure the tenants have it in their name, but is there any way that you've seen the costs go down? I mean...
the tenants have it in their name, but they advertise, I think somewhere around 20. They advertise around 20 to 30% saving.
Yeah, I could use that.
I think maybe you pay a little bit more up front, but you do get some saving. You get, as far as saving space, you're saving a lot of space because the unit's so small. My tenant says, "That's it? Where's my water heater? It's missing the water heater." Like, yeah, that's it.
And I guess you don't have to worry about whether it's a 30-gallon or an 80-gallon because it's instant hot water whenever you need it, right?
Yeah. You, I guess you need like 4 spaces on your electric panel, so it takes a good bit of electricity because, well, they make them with gas too, so they're, propane, gas, natural gas, electricity. So it does take some space up on your panel, but
interesting. I didn't know it took up that much space. So it really draws some juice, but for obviously a shorter period of time.
Electricity, it's going to take a good bit to heat it up like that quickly.
So have you ever done inspections for aging homes or scenarios to that effect?
Well, sort of. Not specifically. Like, we don't advertise that as a service, but we have done inspections for people that had that as a concern and tried our best to address those concerns.
Okay, interesting. And I imagine people that are building homes, because you do inspections obviously for new builds. So perhaps as a home inspector, you could actually go in and consult people that have that in mind as saying, hey, this might not be the best route. Maybe look over plans. I never even thought about it from that aspect, but actually having a home inspector look at a set of plans to see if it would make sense for somebody with a particular ailment. Is that something that it doesn't sound like it's something that is normal, but perhaps it could be? Sure.
And I'm sure John can testify, the ranch-style houses flying off the shelf, right, John?
Oh, yeah, and we're finally starting to see some of the builders build some affordable ranchers, in like the low 200s, which our market has needed for years, and yet they fought us so much on, building them. And it's a huge thing. We need more.
Interesting.
And I do tons of inspections for people that are like, we're moving to one level. We wanted one level. So I hear that all the time.
So what's the best way to get a hold of you, John, if you wanted somebody to look over either plans or a new build or just some advice, because you've obviously with the investors and the whole 9 yards have seen quite a few different scenarios. What's the best number for you?
Sure, best number is 717-233-6144.
And of course you're online at evqharrisburg.com and as always Facebook, correct?
That's correct.
He's everywhere. Everywhere. And you're actually in town this week, right? You're not like in Argentina or anything?
Oh, don't say anything. Yeah, I'm in town.
And he'll go anywhere as long as you're willing to pay the expenses, just for the record.
Yeah, if you need an inspection on your Argentina office.
Yep, you're all there for a whole week.
Although I'd rather go to a little safer location like maybe the Bahamas.
Well, all right, I'll get with you on that.
We're working on it.
John, thanks as always for coming on. We'll catch you next week.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you then. Have a great week.
Yeah, I like the storage comment. That John brought. That is because, just from my aspect, I can tell you, as you start to age in place, where you get to be where you're in a home for a long time, whether you're a hoarder or not, the clutter does, start to get you. And having better storage options is definitely something to think about.
It is. And I never even thought about that, especially the barn door idea, or even the paddle handles for that matter. Having to grab,
Yeah, we build ours with the paddle handles.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
So, we've come up with a lot of different options, obviously, for people to, purchase new homes and go on cruise ships, the whole 9 yards. A lot of times takes a lot of cash to do. But if you are in your own home currently and would love to, stay there, again, there's a lot of programs out there that will help you finance, these alterations, if you will.
PHFA has a program.
PHFA has actually a couple of programs. One is called Access Home Modification. And home buyers, with a permanent disability or have family members living in the household with a permanent disability can apply for these programs. And they'll actually help pay for them upwards of 120% of the home value.
Wow.
And these programs, I mean, they can range from $2,000, I believe, up to about $35,000, depending on what the disability is.
And some of the programs, if I believe I'm correct, so if you have an aging parent moving in with you, even though they aren't on the mortgage or the deed of the house, those loan programs can be used to make the modifications still. Correct?
Yes.
What a country.
Yeah, it is. I mean, well, and these are great programs that are out there. I mean, there's also one called an R&R. Through that, it's a renovate and repair program through PHFA. And they call it a repair loan program. Again, it's approximately, you can actually go to, a lot of these refer for household income limits, but they are allowing them to go up to 150% of the median. So you may think that you make too much money or have too much in retirement, but again, you still have these programs out there that will help you in these circumstances. So please, if you think that you're stuck, you'd be surprised at some of the programs that are out there.
If they want to talk to you about this over the weekend, what's a good number for them to call you?
Well, they can always call me at 717-200-4800, and I'd be happy to either A, get them qualified or point them in the right direction. But not only is there the PHFA programs, which of course we're an approved lender for, there's also what's called a 203K loan. Perhaps you are needing to do some more extensive modifications on your home. Perhaps you have an older home that really does have those narrow walkways, and you have been confined to a wheelchair, and you want to bring a contractor in to broaden, the walkways, the hallways, maybe the doorways, or even just having access to the bathroom, and you'd rather live in your home as opposed to, the alternatives. A 203K, well, it's a refinance. It's actually from FHA. It's an FHA
they can use
program.
that for a refinance.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
Yes, you can refinance.
That should be your tip of the day.
The tip of the day?
That should be your tip of the
refinance for your modification?
With a 203K.
You can.
Hey,
You can.
I like to try to stump the mortgage guy.
You do like to stump the mortgage guy. But again, everybody's got that scenario out there. That it just makes sense that you can do that. And, I was going to get into retirement as far as how to pay for your home. As we all change in life, income changes, you're not working anymore. Maybe the income that you have coming in isn't what you would like.
Ironically, Matt Taylor on Financial Symphony, that's what he was talking about this morning on his show right before we came on.
Really?
He was.
I see. I didn't catch that.
He did.
And I think that's a whole show in and of itself, is reverse mortgages, which we touched on earlier.
Maybe we could have Matt on.
We probably could have Matt on. And reverse mortgages, it's funny. You think of, what was that guy from Goldfinger or Austin Powers? Number 2. Remember that guy? And he was like the head guy for the reverse mortgages, did all those commercials.
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, it's not like that. Everybody has this preconceived notion, and I just actually went through a couple classes for reverse mortgages. You can actually, and I learned a bunch of different things. Not only can you get income off of it, you can have a line of credit where it just kind of sits there. But did you know also that by having income brought in and pushing off your Social Security, that your income would go up in, let's say, 4 years just because you pushed that Social Security off?
Talk to Big Dog. He can explain all that to you.
There's so many strategies to utilize, the equity in your home, either A, for alterations to stay there, but also B, to supplement your income. So, in any event, that's a whole other show.
All right. Well, I just want to give people, if your kids are coming over for Christmas, 3 tips for making their dream of owning a home next year. Tell them to automate their down payment savings. Start saving money automatically into their savings account to make sure that they're building their credit history and keep it clean. Practice living on a budget. So that means slowing down on the new clothes, the new cars, and traveling. So, till next week.
Real altercations?
Real people.
Real food.
Real answers.
Real.
We're going to get that down.
Real market rates. Real interest rates. Real radio shows.
Yeah, real radio shows with the Realty guys.
Oh, next week, going to be a great show. We're going to have April Crossley from Lazy Grill REI, who's a real estate investor out of the Berks County area, join us, and we're going to talk about how to make money in real estate as an investor.
Yeah, I saw that on our page.
So that'll be a great show. Tune in next week. Love you guys. Talk to you later.